Yeah, while I've got you, follow us on YouTube, Alphawaves Podcast, Instagram and TikTok, Alphawaves _ follow us, use the hashtag Alphawaves Pod. We're gonna start running got any dilemmas, anything you want to talk to us about, anything you want to bring to the table, anything you want us to talk about, hit us up on the socials. Like I said, that's Instagram on Alphawaves _ TikTok, Alphawaves _ just type in Alphawaves Podcast and we'll come up. Yes. Welcome to another episode of the Alphawaves Podcast. You are here with your host, Darren. It's me alone today. Cam, I don't know where she is at the minute. Hopefully everything's good with her. But with that being the case, I'm going to divert a little bit. So normally we would have a topic that we would break down. What we had planned for this week, we'll save for another episode. But I think it's kind of fitting that something that's been on my mind is all about preparation and adapting to situations. And I think this is a prime example and a good time to talk about it. So with that being said, the thing with being prepared, people always tell you be prepared to fail, be prepared, etc. But I don't think you should ever be prepared to fail, because I also strongly believe in manifestation. Now, if you're already planning for something not to go right, then it's not like, I get the whole avoid disappointment thing, but then basically what you're saying to yourself is that I'm cool with this not going right. And I'll be honest, I'm never cool with it not going right. Like, I put too much thought and planning into the moves that I make. Anybody that's known me for any amount of time knows that I don't just move on a whim anymore. Hardly ever did when I was younger anyway, but even less so now. So I feel like preparation in itself is key, because 9 times out of 10, what you do on a day-to-day basis is a mind state thing, right? So, for instance, let me give you a little background of where I'm coming from with it. So, a few years ago, I went through a stage in my life where everything was moving erratic. Like, I was having the type of losses, financial, financial, people, anything you can think of. I was just having crazy losses. Some wins, of course. Naturally, that's the balance of life. But at the time, you don't even really see it as that when you're in the mud. But yeah. So my life was very erratic for a long period of time. Yeah. And then one day, I must have sat down. I can't remember who I was talking to, but I sat down with someone, and they was like, "Are you ready for this? Like, was you ready for this?" And I said, "No, I weren't ready for this. I had it mapped out that things was gonna go this way, that way." And that's when they was like, "No, in life you need to be ready. You need to be prepared for what you're asking for." And it's crazy because I wanted the change in my life, but I wasn't planning for it. If that makes sense, I wanted the change, but I didn't have no plan set. I didn't know what I was gonna do to get to there. And obviously, part of it was like breaking out of old cycles. But it came full circle back to planning. And the moment I started planning, just little steps, being prepared. All right, cool. I might not be able to do this, but I'm gonna get through this little period of time and move on. For instance, I was driving my Mercedes at the time, and like, this was just like right before ULEZ came in anyway, so it gave me like a perfect excuse to get rid of it. But that's the last thing that I wanted to do, was get rid of it. But I had to. Got rid of it. I was still driving around, but it weren't my Mercedes, you get me? But you started to realise that, this is just like going back to square one, being on the grind again. Like, you've been through this, you prepared yourself to go through the stage. Had I not prepared myself to go through that stage, I probably would have went mad, because everybody, when I didn't have a car before that, I was driving people mad, like, I want a car, I got my Mercedes, I was cool. driving that, dropped it out. Then it was like, I want my car. But wanting something's not a problem. It's what you do to get it. So I was prepared to go through all the steps that I needed to go to get back to where I was plus more, which I found myself at now, thankfully. But yeah, no, preparation is key in life. Very key. It's crazy because sometimes you sit there and you think that you've got everything planned out. Then the curveball happens, obviously. But it's in those moments, it's a true test to yourself. It's almost like, I don't know, it's strange. It's very strange, man. It's very strange. Because even with me saying that, I'm kind of contradicting myself, because there's some things in life you just can't plan for. That you can't prepare for. And when those times come, what do? You can't hide. You just gotta overcommit almost. But a lot of people they don't get the chance to do that. It's strange. Sometimes it's very strange, but like I'm saying, a prepared mind state is key in life. I remember if I think back, like, if I'm going back to my younger days, I had a serious injury, yeah. I'm not going to say the usual thing of, I had a football career that ended, but at that point in my life, that's what I wanted to pursue. Football. Had a big injury. I tried to do the comeback, but it just weren't working, yeah. And like, escaping those thoughts at that time, as a young boy, I think I was like 15 at the time. And escaping those thoughts of not making it because of an injury. Like, you almost feel hard done by. And when I was like sitting there in my leg brace when I had the break, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, coming out of that, that's when life started to go a bit wayward. Wouldn't even say life went wayward. I went off the path that I had in mind, which obviously was athlete, boom, boom, boom. But even with that, I didn't fully commit to the athlete lifestyle, admittedly. But I was making those steps to do that at that point. When that's happened, change your mindset. Now it's like, cool. How do I prepare for the next stage of my life? And in those moments, I don't know how you do it. You just kind of have to find resolve within yourself and look at the bigger picture. Life throws a lot of curveballs. If you told me that I'll be sitting here doing a pod by myself, I would have said you're lying a few years ago. But it is what it is. You just adapt. But yeah, no, life throws you curveballs, and like, being prepared for curveballs is it's almost impossible. But I read one time, like, it's not about motivation, it's your discipline. And like, if you're disciplined enough and you're prepared enough, you're always going to find a way through. It's almost like they're saying, like I'm saying with this preparation thing, we've all been through that stage where you start something, let's say the gym. You start going to the gym, you're heavy on the gym, you're motivated, I'm gym life, boom. There's going to be a day when you can't be bothered to go. That day can turn into 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days if you let it. But if there's a day that you can't be bothered to go, but you've already prepared yourself from the night before to go, you're more than likely to go in the morning. I've been there. I've woken up, I can't be bothered to go gym today, you know. You get up, get out of bed. You look to your right and you see your gym clothes ready for you, that you prepared yourself the night before. Immediately I'm getting up and going gym now because I've got the clothes there, innit? I don't know. It's just a preparation mindset. I think it's kind of underrated in the world, and a lot of people aren't prepared for anything. Not prepared to work hard, prepared to take chances, prepared to move, prepared to leave when something's not right for them. It's tough to do, but you have to do it sometimes. Like, how do you prepare yourself to leave a situation that isn't benefiting you anymore? Unless you're good with moving on impulse and you just leave. But even that within itself is difficult. So yeah. Um Going off of that, anybody that's like going through something at the minute, the best thing to do is prepare yourself for the eventual outcome. Because just to switch it a little bit, sometimes in life we know when something's coming to an end. We know it, but we're not prepared to accept it. And then when it does happen, we have all this hurt and anger within ourselves. But I think half of that is built up from the fact that you knew this day was coming, but you wasn't prepared for it. Like, if you really sit down and think about it, there's things in your life that you do or that you see. It might not even be with you directly, it might be someone around you. And you can see that something's not right there. Whatever's going on there is not right. And it's coming to an end. But people aren't prepared to accept that. Preparing yourself to accept that doesn't necessarily make you a bad person or make you cold hearted or have no emotions. No, it's just about taking control of your, can't say your destiny, of your present. Like, we don't know what tomorrow's going to hold. Of course we don't. But you can do your best to prepare as much for it as possible. Yeah, no, I just feel like preparation's been so key to my life. It's it's mad because it carries itself over in so many different industries. Like, you see people do things and you're like, how did they do that? But then you realize they prepared for this moment. Like, are you prepared for your moment? That's the biggest question in life. Like, everybody wants something, but are you prepared for your moment? A small example: a musician. You've seen it all the time. This is why people are one-hit wonders, because they're not prepared for what follows that moment. Right? Are you in the studio? Are you active? Are you making songs? So that if one does pop off, you're prepared. You've got another one. And even if you ain't got another one, you've got all the foundations of making more music. It's not like you're just messing around. You make one, you put one out, it goes viral, which can obviously happen to anybody. A viral moment can happen to anybody. I don't think you can manufacture a viral moment. I think it needs a bit of authenticity for it to go. But what follows up usually determines the longevity of someone's moment. Because if they was prepared for this moment, they're going to have something else to follow with, or their mind is already prepared for that moment. So even if they don't have the material, they've got the mindset for it. But yeah, preparation is key, as I keep saying. I don't think I've got anything in my life without being prepared for it. There's some things you can do on a whim, sorry. I think that's slightly different because as you get further in certain careers and you realize a lot of people just don't have a clue and they're just winging it. But when you're prepared, it's a different feeling, different energy. Having a prepared mindset, it's very different. Very different, very different. It can get you out of so many situations. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah, I would just say, yeah, most important thing in life right now is be prepared. Be prepared, man. I can't say be prepared for the worst, but you just gotta be prepared. But they say be prepared for disappointment, so when it comes, it doesn't hurt as much. Nah, man. Just be prepared. Be prepared for any eventual outcome. The good, the possibility that it could go wrong. Don't fool yourself. Don't kid yourself and think nothing can go wrong. You're not prepared for that. You gotta be prepared for every outcome. But where does it sit mainly? Because for me, I'm always prepared for the different outcomes, but my focus is always on the best one. That's what I'm prepared for. Prepared for the backlash. Prepared for this. Spent years building up my defense mechanisms. The world and the streets will do that to you. Corporate world will do that to you. Some things is like, I don't know, it's crazy. Because again, like I said, be prepared for the outcome. All the young boys out there that's being painted as like monsters and whatever else in the media. I know firsthand that it's not what they say, innit? And a lot of the times people are just put in positions or find themselves in situations that they wasn't prepared for. And how they react is either like self-defense or scared, or some people aren't prepared for the eventual outcome. So there's a lot of people that we lose in life, or that if they were just prepared for a better outcome, they'll still be here with us. Whether that's they're in jail or they've passed away or whatever. Rest in peace to everybody we have lost. Free the guys that need to be freed. You already know. But yeah, I just hope that more than anything, people take from it you guys take from it the need to just be prepared more than anything. Realistically, I feel like we're a generation that is living in the moment so much so that we overlook the small details sometimes. There's a lot of fun in living in the moment, of course. A lot of fun. But sometimes you gotta look at the bigger picture. Fine details. The bigger picture is crazy because it's like you see certain things like, no, it's mad. All I can say is just be prepared. That's what I want to leave it as. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a short episode. Trying to speak to you guys quickly. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the Alphawaves pod. This is like a mini episode, like a 0.5. So don't even sweat it. Next week we'll be back to normal. We'll be here at full complement. We'll have a special episode, have some guests in here and make it properly. And yeah, until next time. Peace.